And welcome back to Rising. Lindsey, what's in your lens today?
We're talking about Nobel Peace Prize winner Barack Obama. When Barack Obama speaks, people listen, not just because he's a former president, but because he knows what leadership rooted in empathy sounds like. On comedian Mark Moron's podcast, Obama didn't mince words about Donald Trump's latest move to deploy military forces into American cities. He warned that America's democracy is, quote, being weakened deliberately, and here's part of what he had to say.
When you have military that can direct force against their own people, that is inherently corrupting.
Think about that. Soldiers trained for war, taking orders to patrol the same neighborhoods they swore to protect. That's not just un-American, it's dangerous. Since taking office for the second time, President Trump has made law and order his personal brand, sending the National Guard to Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Memphis, Portland, and most recently, Chicago, Obama's own hometown. A federal appeals court had since blocked the deployment on Chicago streets, but allowed the Guard to remain under federal control. The Trump administration claims it's all about protecting federal buildings during protests over ICE operations, but Obama isn't buying that.
If I had sent in the National Guard into Texas and just said, you know what, a lot of problems in Dallas, a lot of crime there, and I don't care what Governor Abbott says. I'm going to kind of take over law enforcement because I think things are out of control. It is mind-boggling to me how Fox News would have responded.
Now, that's a fair point, because this isn't about protecting buildings. It's about power, and it's about redefining who the enemy is. You'll remember late last month in an address to military leaders, Trump described civil disturbances as the, quote, enemy from within. He had this to say.
And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
Training grounds. Our neighborhoods aren't boot camps. Our citizens are not insurgents. Obama countered that vision perfectly.
We don't want masked, folks with rifles and machine guns patrolling our streets.
Yeah.
We want cops on the beat who know the neighborhood and the kids around, and that's how we keep the peace around here.
Now, under the Passe Comitatus Act of 1878, it's generally illegal to use the military for civilian law enforcement. The Insurrection Act, which Trump has threatened to invoke, was meant for true emergencies like rebellions, invasions, and moments when states asked for help. The last time it was used was during 1992, during the Los Angeles riots, and even then, at the governor's request. So the question isn't whether the president can use the military this way, it's whether he should. Because when we start treating our own citizens like combatants, we lose something far greater than control. We lose trust, humanity, and the very fabric of our democracy. Crime in our cities will not be solved by troops in tactical gear. It'll be solved by investing in people through jobs, education, and community-based policing that actually connects, not divides. Militarizing our streets might look strong on TV, but the real strength isn't about force. It's about long-term collaboration between state and federal officials.
This interview is a good reminder of just the different epistemic bubbles we live in, because this is a long-running podcast, this Mark Maron guy, that I have never heard of and never seen before. And this is the last episode. And I guess it's a big deal for liberal people.
It's been 16 years that he's been going on. I said his name wrong earlier. It's Maron.
I don't know who he is, but I watched some of it. It was fine. Look,
Isn't Obama so well-spoken, so peaceful, so noble?
Oh, God. Well, he's well-spoken, I'll give you that, and I enjoy listening to him because it's insightful into the liberal mindset. Look, I don't have a problem with most of the clips you played from Obama there. I, too, don't think our cities should be used as training grounds for our military. I, too, don't think the national soldiers are the right response to crime problems in most cities, although they have improved things in the nation's capital, which is partly run by the federal government, so it's a little bit different. I would not send them into cities and states where their help is not wanted. But Obama says that the answer is more local beat cops. Okay, sure. Well, then we need to hire and train more police officers. And the left's slogan, the slogan of his ideological movement was to abolish the police. Where was he? Maybe I missed it. Maybe he was on Mark Maron's podcast 5 years ago and I just missed it because I've never heard of this person in my life, talking about how idiotic his own ideological simpaticos, the media environment, the activist environment that he is a part of, who wanted to reduce law enforcement to nothing, how stupid that was. Maybe he was speaking out about it, I just don't remember.
When you're done, let me know.
Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay.
He was out there speaking about
Defund the
that?
police did not mean to literally have zero police officers. Defund the police meant to use some of the resources to invest in more responses to issues that wouldn't leave people being dead when that's not the right response for police to come shoot and act and think later. To have community policing, people that understand the area, people who have psychological issues, to have conversations. Yes, it is. Your interpretations of it, you just talked about the bubbles we live in. So what I understand about that was an actual call for the violence to stop and be an immediate response to anything that might be scary to an officer.
I was hosting this show during the time. Not with you, but with other people, with people who are much further to your left, to be frank, and they were serious about defunding.
So
they meant
I don't know, and not one
police.
person that literally, even in D.C., right? I can tell you that I don't think the National Guard should be here. Now, them being here, does everything seem more calm? People like when there's people around and like feeling safer? Fine. I know that that's not a real solution. That's not a long-term solution in any state. I think states should govern themselves. And so two things can be true. I don't know which fool would say the police should have $0 so that if somebody come robs your home, there's no one to call. Nobody was saying that I knew, realistically. Maybe some people were being extreme, but not a police to be found is not a real solution anywhere.
Long-time viewers,
that doesn't make any sense. Somebody wanted zero police.
Not a totally made up.
People wanted zero. I don't think that. I know somebody could have been arguing that, but I don't think that that's a good point to argue zero police. I think that funds could be allocated so that police that actually understand the community are encouraged and built up, and that there are more solutions for people. Like you said, the kids outside of your neighborhood, or young kids that are running around, maybe doing crime. Some of them weren't. The point is, the parents, the leadership is lacking. They need after-school activities. They need things to keep them busy. Mm-hmm. They are distracted and have a lack of parenting, which may not be a fault of their parents, who may work several jobs. And maybe there are several economic reasons why the parents may work 2 jobs. There are so many systemic issues that we could try to solve to make crime go down. But focusing on bringing more police that are unrelated to the community at all, with huge machine guns, like President Obama was saying, if they're National Guard, is not the solution. You know that, and I know that. And so defund the police, to circle back to your point that doesn't make any sense, is not having zero police officers. It's actually just putting some funds in other places.
Right. I would have picked a different slogan then. I don't know.
It was I said on air, look, Google it. It was a terrible slogan. We can agree on that. It was a terrible slogan for what I understood it to mean. Now, most extreme people, just like extreme people in your party, might have said it, went all the way to the wall with it and said no police at all. But I don't think that's a good solution ever. Do you agree with everyone in the extreme right of
Well, no, but I generally think that I think that the words you use generally mean the thing that you mean. I think people wielding that slogan meant it in its literal sense, that they wanted to reduce funding for police to almost nothing. They thought police services, law enforcement services, could be replaced 95% with
So your response to Obama saying let's not do this,
by reducing crime, by giving more welfare money.
Your response to Obama saying let's not do this is, well, you said this 5 years ago. He doesn't think this is a good. So why not just tell? What do you want Trump to do then? What he's doing is not working.
What I want Trump to do is collect his Nobel Peace Prize. I think Barack Obama should have to give him his police prize.
That is ridiculous.
I think it should be like the green jacket at the Masters tournament.
Somebody has to agree with me.
I think he'll put it on
find me on social media and tell
president.
me that I'm not crazy. Some Democrats are sounding the alarm over comments from the Trump administration. Up next, why they feel the White House is trying to bypass Congress to achieve its goals. Stay with us.